Roberts is one of the most talented actresses ever born, but her birth was paid for by Martin Luther King. How this happened was in the 1950s, Martin Luther King and his wife Coretta were looking for a theater school for their children. But sadly at the time, Georgia still had segregation going on and most theater schools rejected Martin Luther King and his children. So Coretta King, trying to find a theater, called up Julia Roberts' mother, Betty Lou Roberts. And Julia Roberts' parents in the 50s and 60s didn't have a lot of money just running a small community theater. But then once Julia Roberts' mother heard what was going on, she immediately told Coretta King to bring their kids in and they can join the theater. And for Julia Roberts' parents, this did actually cost them a little bit of money because this was 1950s and 60s Georgia and some families pulled their kids out of the theater group. But years later in 1965, Julia Roberts' mother was pregnant with Julia Roberts, but the family couldn't afford the pregnancy. And they asked people in their theater group if they can borrow some money, but nobody was willing to give them a loan. Except for two people who were Martin Luther and Coretta King, who paid for the birth and didn't ask for the money back. Martin Luther King wasn't a very wealthy man, making only $8,000 a year, and I just want to say this is the most wholesome story I ever covered. With that, I'm Charles Prallo. I hope you learned something.